The popularity of Gmail is on the verge of collapse. They held 35.25% of the market in September 2021. However, they only held 27.95% of the market by October 2022. This indicates that Gmail's market share decreased by a staggering 7.3% during these 13 months. When you consider that virtually everyone with an internet connection uses email, this may not seem like a lot at first. Worldwide, approximately 4.26 billion people use email. This indicates that either 306 million people have stopped using Gmail, or those who are opening new accounts are choosing other email clients. The majority of the time, it's probably a mix of the two. But why? The general consensus has been that Gmail is the preferred email client ever since it started. Gmail has been the bomb, whether we're talking about personal, business, or fake email use. Some of the other email clients, particularly Yahoo and Hotmail, even have a bad reputation, in my opinion. In other words, how did Gmail go from being the most popular email service to losing a fifth of their market share in a year? To understand why Gmail is losing so much market share, we must first understand why they were initially so popular. We'll have to go back to April Fool's Day 2004 for this. In case you were unaware, Gmail was initially launched as a joke. In fact, Google's current CEO, Sundar Pichai, was conducting an interview at the time. In addition, even when interviewers inquired about his thoughts regarding Gmail, he believed that the question was merely an April Fool's joke. The fact that Gmail's offering was so laughably absurd was the primary reason for Gmail to become so popular. There were 2 megabytes of storage available from Yahoo and 5 megabytes from Hotmail at the time. As a result, when Google introduced 1 gigabyte of storage on April Fool's Day, people assumed it was a joke. However, April Fool's Day arrived and went, and Gmail continued to function. People were definitely taken aback by this, but Google was only getting started. They would raise the storage capacity to 2 gigabytes in 2005 and 4 gigabytes in 2007, respectively. Gmail went from being a joke to being the best email client in a very short amount of time. I don't think it's necessary for me to tell you how awful it is to try to keep your entire email archive under 2 or 5 megabytes. But Gmail had a lot more to offer than just storage. In addition, Gmail was known for having the best user interface, the best spam filters, easy grouping, and the capability of actually searching through your email. Additionally, the other well-known services did not even permit searching. However, despite the fact that everyone desired Gmail, not many people were able to access it. This brings us to Gmail's second selling point, scarcity. The problem is this. It proved to be extremely challenging to provide these insane storage spaces, which were magnitudes ahead of the competition. As a result, they were forced to severely restrict the number of people who used the service. This would have been a major scaling bottleneck for the majority of businesses, but Google turned it into an advantage by restricting access to Gmail to invitees. A person could only be invited to open a Gmail account by someone who already had one. Therefore, you were unquestionably the cool kid in the friend group if you had a Gmail account. Google didn't make Gmail available to everyone until nearly 3 years after the initial launch. Gmail's market share continued to rise as the majority of people who did not yet have an account wanted to switch. Gmail was wanted by a wide range of individuals. Again, Google's features were very much gaining support from schools and other institutions. Google provided institutions with custom domain names, 30 gigabytes of storage, up to unlimited storage based on your situation, and anytime phone and email support, in addition to no scheduled maintenance downtime. Google outperformed the competition once more, so switching was an easy decision. However, this effectively marked the end of the voluntary adoption of Gmail. Even though Gmail was the better option, many people who had already joined the Google ecosystem were forced to use it. Google's strategies in the 2010s probably appeared to be completely harmless. However, it was definitely a bother for those who did not subscribe to the ecosystem. Google began by requiring users to have a single Google account for each of their platforms, merging all of them. Although it may not seem significant now, this caused quite a stir among people in the past. And Google Plus was most likely to blame. I don't blame you if you don't know about Google Plus, because it was a huge failure. In essence, Google Plus was their attempt to grow their own social media platform and compete with Facebook. At first glance, it appears harmless. However, the issue was that rather than attract individuals to join Google Plus due to its features, Google compelled them to do so. For instance, in 2011, Google made it necessary to create a Google Plus profile when creating a Gmail account. This requirement remained in place until 2014. You can probably see why this would be bothersome, but it wasn't even close to being their worst fault. Their YouTube comment policy was probably their biggest fault. In 2013, YouTube made it a requirement for commenters to have Google Plus accounts. People were furious for obvious reasons, and even YouTube co-founder Jawed Karim would criticize Google. "Why the f do I need a Google Plus account to comment on a video?" Jawed posted at that time. Google would not untie YouTube and Google Plus until 2015, despite the complaints. Even though Google Plus was without a doubt the worst culprit, the same argument held true for Gmail accounts as well. If you wanted to do anything else on Google, you had to have a Gmail account. Would you like to use Google Drive? Well, you'll need a Gmail account. Do you want an account on YouTube? Well, you'll need a Gmail account. Do you want to use the Play Store to get apps? Well, you'll need a Gmail account. The fact that this monopoly extended beyond Google's services was the funniest part. The login with Google feature is probably familiar to all of you. Even though this feature is unquestionably extremely convenient, it only served to reinforce Google's monopoly and compelled more people to sign up for Gmail accounts. Even if their use case had nothing to do with email. The educational component of Gmail could also be the subject of a similar argument. Universities required Google accounts for all of their students in order to run Google Ads and implement Google Calendars across the entire school. Although technically many Google features can be used without an account, we all know that accounts provide better services. It's like trying to use AirPods with a Windows computer. It works, but it isn't very good. All of this has brought us to this point. Google has leveraged features, scarcity, and forced adoption to become one of the most dominant email clients in the world. However, their dominance is slowly beginning to fade. So, what's going on? The reason is fairly straightforward. Google's options are decreasing. Let us begin with the features. One of Gmail's first selling points was its enormous storage, but the competitors now has not only caught up to Google, but also surpassed it. Take, for instance, Outlook. You can store 15 gigabytes of email in Outlook alone, and OneDrive gives you an additional 5 gigabytes. As a result, Gmail is no longer significantly ahead of the competition. Moving on to the second selling point of Gmail, its scarcity. No one really considers having a Google account to be cool anymore. It's pretty much the norm, and everyone has one. Due to the fact that there is essentially no one left to persuade, this also makes it extremely difficult for Google to increase customers. We should also point out that Google was never really the best option for professionals or students because you can't use Microsoft Office as much. Google Docs, Slides, and Sheets make collaboration extremely simple, which is why many educational institutions adopted them. However, Microsoft Office is without a doubt the superior service if you disregard the ease of use and collaborative features. In addition, Microsoft has made significant progress over the past 10 years with their own online Office products and collaboration features. Although Microsoft Office Online is actually free, institutions don't even care because they typically already have a lot of Office 365 subscriptions. As a result, many institutions are returning to Outlook to benefit from Microsoft Office, cloud storage, and email ease of use. We should also mention that businesses never adopted Google, despite the fact that educational institutions did. In point of fact, only 4,400 of the nearly 196,000 businesses in the United States use Gmail. Apple's recent mail privacy protection program is another factor that has washed Gmail's market share. Email marketers will have a harder time locating your IP address and email activity if this program is installed. In addition, it is not surprising that people are taking every opportunity to safeguard themselves in this age when everyone is concerned about giants like Google and Facebook collecting your data. The fact that you don't have to do anything to take advantage of this program makes this even simpler. In fact, using this program would be easier to use. On iPhones, you only need to use the built-in Mail app rather than downloading the Gmail app. In addition, despite the fact that users of the iPhone email app have been dissatisfied with it for a number of years, the market share data clearly indicates that this brand new feature is strongly encouraging them to use it. Apple's market share has increased from 50% in September 2021 to nearly 60% today. Additionally, I anticipate that this will only get worse over time as people become more aware of the significance of data security. In the end, Gmail is not going away or becoming less useful. To use the internet freely, you absolutely need a Gmail account. However, it does appear that people are increasingly utilizing alternative email services. This is because, among other reasons, that the rival email clients now have more features than Google, are better integrated with Microsoft Office, and have basically reached market saturation. However, if we look beyond that, it appears that a larger trend toward privacy is starting. Apparently, Apple are attempting to establish themselves as the major technology firm that does not collect data. Their Mail Privacy Protection Program and their Ask Not to Track feature demonstrate this. This trend isn't just being followed by Apple. We have Signal in the messaging industry and BeReal in the social media industry. Despite the fact that these services provide completely different features, they all have one thing in common: eradicating big tech's negative aspects. Additionally, I believe that Gmail's popularity will simply continue to decline due to the fact that Google already lacks much room for expansion. However, this is just my opinion. This is the end of the video. Which is your favorite email client? Write that in the comment box below. Also, if you think this trend will lead to more openness and transparency regarding Google's services, please give it a like. Also, if you want to see more similar videos on this channel, consider subscribing.